Hello, this is Matt on the Moon Lambo channel, and good news! The SEC vs. Ripple case is never going to freaking end. Not literally, obviously, there will be some sort of finality to all this, hopefully in the form of settlement. I'd be happy with that. But the court has said, yes, extension granted. So this lawsuit is going to last even longer than what we were thinking just the other day. So I'm going to share with you the specifics. Also, just within the last several hours or so, there was a separate update, and there's some legal conclusions that are actually favorable to Ripple. And we just found this out within the last several hours or so. So I'll give you an update on both of those. And then at the end of the video, I'm going to share this story, which is just something that I found fascinating, unrelated to Ripple, unrelated to XRP specifically, but interesting nonetheless. And I have a feeling that there's going to be at some point, some fallout surrounding Tether. I don't know exactly what it's going to look like, but look, for a number of reasons. First of all, even if it's on the up and up, various jurisdictions have problems with it, and if it's not on the up and up, then we've got a serious problem. But do you guys have any idea how much Tether existed just at the beginning of last year versus how much exists today? Well, I'm going to tell you, and it will blow your simple little mind. It blew my simple little Moon Lambo brain, so I assume it's going to do the same to you as well. So if you're concerned about like a brain blowout, maybe just put on like a helmet right now. It might contain the brains inward. That would be the best recommendation I have off the top of my exploded brain right now. But here's the headline from the block. Ontario securities regulator bars the country's first registered crypto platforms from trading Tether. How about that? But before we go any further, I do want to be clear. I do not have a legal or financial background of any kind. I am not offering legal or financial advice, and you definitely should not buy or sell anything because of anything I say or write. I'm just an enthusiast who makes YouTube videos about crypto-related topics purely as a hobby, just for fun. That's all that's going on here. And so here's the headline from A&B Crypto. XRP Lawsuit Update. Court grants Ripple SEC's expert discovery extension request. Judge Sarah Netburn has granted Ripple and the SEC's motion to extend the deadline for expert discovery. The update was first shared by James K. Filan, with the attorney revealing that the court has also granted an extension for filing pre-motion letters regarding a summary judgment. And so to pause right there, I'm sure most of you know at this point, but James K. Filan, he is a member of the XRP community. He's not with the SEC and he's not with Ripple, but he's providing quite a valuable service. He constantly shares the most recent, all the breaking legal updates and documents. And so that's why if you follow my channel, then you know that I've highlighted him a bazillion times. I always like to give credit where it's due, and I really appreciate what he does, and I know the rest of the community does too. But anyway, the piece continues as follows. However, no due date has been set yet. And so Attorney Filan tweeted out the following. Hashtag XRP community. SEC versus Ripple XRP. The court has granted the motion for extension of time. The extension for filing pre-motion letters regarding summary judgment has been granted, but no due date has been set pending resolution of the motions to strike and dismiss. And then the article continues. Earlier this week, the two parties had jointly filed a motion to push the deposition of Ripple executives Brad Garlinghouse and Chris Larson after the deadline for fact discovery. As per the filing, this was done to the, quote, unexpected illness of an attorney integral to the Larson deposition, end quote. And so now, while the parties had offered a schedule in September for the depositions to be carried out, the court has not offered any specific date. According to the attorney, however, a granting of motions for extension of time are often rule on in this fashion. And so this is known as a docket order, he said. And here's another quote from Attorney Filan. And he's determined here, I didn't know what the hell it was. I guess it's probably lawyery, so I had to Google it for you. It looks like, so here's how it's spelled. S-I-N-E space D-I-E. So I was like, what the hell is sign die? And so then I looked it up, and Google can pronounce stuff for you. So anyway, I found it's pronounced Synodia. I should just come on here and pretended like I already knew that, right? Then I'd be looking totally baller to the audience, right? No. I don't know. I don't pretend. Look, I have a reasonable vocabulary, but I don't know what the hell it was. But anyway, Synodia is how it's pronounced. And so it means with reference to business or proceedings that have been adjourned with no appointed date for resumption. So there you go. So it is a legal thing. But anyway, here's what he tweeted out. Adjourned Synodia means that a specific date has not yet been set for the filing of the pre-motion letters or statements of material facts because those dates will depend on when the court rules on the pending motion to strike and motion to dismiss. And so now you know too, and you know how to pronounce it. Say it with me, sine die, sine die, sine die. The court is yet to decide on the pending motions before it. Other documents can be filed only after these rulings have been made. However, the timeline for the same cannot be predicted. What's more, there have also been speculations that the next hearing in the matter, scheduled to take place on August 31st, is going to be public. And what the SEC and Ripple have discovered yet is unknown. So according to observers, the two parties are equipped with some strong pieces of information to make their respective cases. And alas, these details may or may not be revealed to the public, depending on how the privilege issue works out. So there you go. Push back further and further and further and further. But I will say this, and this is just my personal opinion, my humble opinion. Like, even if, like, and look, I don't think it's going to happen, but even if we don't have finality surrounding what's happening with the SEC versus Ripple case, if we don't have finality before this market cycle completes, which is to say, well, ending point, let's say after the bubble, by the time the bubble pops, because there's going to be a bubble here, even if that ends up being the case, and I'm not convinced that will be the case, but even if it's the case, I personally still firmly believe that XRP is going to continue to move in tandem with the market because provably it is to this point. And yeah, you could make a case that at this point, the price of XRP, it's probably artificially suppressed to some degree. It's the only top 10 cryptocurrency that this market cycle has not yet hit its all-time high, hasn't revisited it. But think about what happened, just in December. So you get the scariest news you possibly could, which is that SEC claims that XRP is a security, and then you get Coinbase and all the other US-based exchanges, most of them anyway, saying, hey, we're going to halt trading of XRP. Not surprising, that's what happened here. But even that, the worst things that conceivably could have happened, outside of some sort of like glitch that allows more XRP to be created or something wacky like that, outside of that, this is the worst thing that could have happened. And what happened after the market freaked out? XRP moved up in price and then resumed what it was doing previously, which is moving in tandem with the rest of the market. So even if this takes, an eternity, a figurative eternity, then so what? Fine. It's annoying, but ultimately, I still firmly believe XRP is going to move with the market, and we shall have our day. And then there was this. The most recent legal update from just within the last several hours or so, and this is what James K. Filan tweeted out. SEC versus Ripple. The court has granted motions to seal regarding, number one, the Slack communications dispute, and two, the privileges dispute. The motions to seal were granted pending resolution of the underlying motions. Both are text-only orders, screenshot attached. And here's the actual screenshot. So there's not a ton to report on this, but it's not particularly surprising. It seems clear to me that given that Ripple's the one that wanted some of the stuff sealed up here, from the Hinman deposition, it presumably, right, would be logical to assume it's just something that wouldn't have been favorable to them. Who knows? Because, obviously, this is not hard concept. Hinman has said, and we already know, he said all sorts of stuff, which is not favorable to the SEC, and there's no really great way for him around that. And it has been good for Ripple, but that doesn't mean that everything that William Hinman said in that deposition would necessarily be good for Ripple and be good for XRP. It could be good for the SEC. And so, given that this is the case, that would be my little moon Lambo guess right there. And now on to this. Ontario Securities Regulator bars the country's first registered crypto platforms from trading Tether. And this is after a bunch of the nonsense. Nonsense isn't the right word. I mean, sort of. What's unfolded in the United States, specifically with the state of New York. They're not such big fans of Tether. Yeah, you may recall I reported on that story. How long has it been since that happened anyway? Probably within the last... Has it been several months? I don't know. All the days blur together at this point. COVID life, man. I'm just telling you. But anyway, the Ontario Securities Commission has barred a pair of trading platforms that offer crypto services from trading Tether, according to regulatory documents issued in recent weeks. Both based in Toronto, Wealthsimple and Coinberry are the first companies of their kind allowed into what the Canadian Securities Administrators term an interim time-limited registration framework that would allow crypto asset platforms to operate within a regulated environment with regulatory requirements tailored to the crypto assets platforms' operations. And so some of you may recall, just within the last couple days or so, Coinberry was also in the news, and I highlighted them on my channel. And that was the first time I'd ever highlighted them. I hadn't heard of Coinberry before this. I'm in the United States, so that's probably not surprising. There are a lot of exchanges out there. But Coinberry, they just out of nowhere this month, mind you, after the SEC's been going after Ripple since December of last year, they just halted the trading of XRP. And so I'm like, did you just find out about the lawsuit? Is this news to you? Just breaking? I'm like, what is on? What is going? Go home, Coinberry. You're drunk. But it looks like, and so I figured, of course, realistically, that I assume that just meant that there was some sort of strategic move that we were not privy to. And now it just seems like they're trying to be the ultra good boy in Canada and just be totally on the up and up in every conceivable way. And this is part of what they need to do to get the attaboy from the government. That's what it looks like to me, anyway. But as far as Tether itself, holy freaking hell, there's a lot of it. Do you know how much Tether there was at the beginning of last year? Well, here's a historical snapshot from January 5th, 2020. And if you're looking at the screen, you already know. Here's Tether, number 4 in market cap. Market cap at the time, $4.1 billion. $4.1 billion. Still a lot. But do you know what it is today? Again, 4.1 billion beginning of last year. Today, it is currently 65.5 billion. That's right. It went from about 4 billion to about 65 billion. What in the ever-loving hell? And so think about this. It is printed out of thin air, and obviously cryptocurrencies don't occur in nature, so they've got to be created out of thin air. But fine. But here, the thing with Tether, though, it's claimed that this is somehow actually backed, but then there's been reports that it's not always completely backed, this or that, and to what degree might this be propping up the price of Bitcoin if this is just created out of thin air, but then it's thrown into Bitcoin as if they're actual dollars. And I don't freaking know. I don't have all the answers, but I certainly understand why people have concerns. The concerns are legitimate. But so whether or not there will be some sort of serious negative fallout as a result, I don't know. But I am confident that there's going to continue to be all sorts of legal implications for the utilization of Tether, whether it's the Tether organization themselves or cryptocurrency exchanges. Governments, they don't exactly know, not all of them exactly how they want to handle all of this. And so as they figured out, they will regulate through enforcement. Does that sound familiar? So there we are, folks. There we are. I'll go ahead and wrap up here, though. I am not a financial advisor. You should not buy or sell anything because of anything that I say or write. That would be a very, very, very bad idea. Until next time, to the moon, Lambo.